Everyone deserves to feel safe in Vancouver. Whether you live here, work here, or come to visit, nobody should fear that they or someone they love will become the victim of a violent crime. Samson and Chelly Wong deserve to feel safe and to be safe when they came to Vancouver for dinner with their son Alfred on January 13th, 2018. Instead, Alfred, just 15 years old at the time and teeming with potential, was taken from them after being struck and killed by a stray bullet fired during a brazen and reckless gang shootout on the street. For more than 4 years, Vancouver Police Department investigators have worked relentlessly to solve Alfred's senseless and tragic murder. Today, I'm pleased and proud to announce a significant development in that homicide investigation. Yesterday, Vancouver Police Department investigators formally arrested 26-year-old Kane Carter, and the spelling of that is Kane, and the last name usual spelling Carter, for the killing of young Alfred Wong. The BC Prosecution Service has now charged Carter with 1 count of second-degree murder and Alfred's death, 1 count of second-degree murder and the death of Kevin Whiteside, who was also murdered that night in an exchange of gunfire at Broadway in Ontario. Whiteside was 23 years old at the time. Carter has also been charged with discharging a firearm with intent to wound Whiteside and aggravated assault against a third victim who was struck by a bullet and survived. This case is now before the courts, and for that reason, I am limited in the details that I can talk about the case, but what I can do is take some time to explain how we got here. Alfred Wong was a promising young athlete and a bright student. He aspired to become a lifeguard and wanted to pursue a career in electronic engineering. He loved hanging out with friends, playing video games, and spending time with his family. That was what he was doing on the night that he was killed. Alfred and his parents had come to Vancouver to enjoy dinner with Alfred's older brother, and after enjoying some family time together, they were heading home. Alfred was in the back seat of the family car as it traveled eastbound on Broadway towards Ontario Street at approximately 9:30 p.m. Unbeknownst to the Wong family, Kevin Whiteside had also come to the area that night. We've previously told you in other press conferences that Mr. Whiteside was involved in gang life, and we believe that on that night he had come to Vancouver to shoot a rival who was having dinner inside a Broadway restaurant at that location. Gunfire was exchanged on the street as the Wong family car approached the intersection of Broadway and Ontario. A stray bullet entered the vehicle and struck Alfred. He was critically injured and later died in hospital. This was a long and complex investigation, which took some of VPD's most experienced homicide investigators across the country to secure and gather evidence. These investigators interviewed hundreds of witnesses and processed thousands of exhibits. And while it has taken more than 4 years to arrive here, I was always confident that this day would come. Last week, homicide investigators met with Alfred's mom and dad to inform them of the arrest and charges. I'd like to acknowledge the Wong family and thank them for their patience throughout this entire investigation. This has been an incredibly difficult time in their lives, as you can all imagine. I hope this arrest will bring some sense of peace to the Wong family. I want to thank every member of the public who came forward with information during this investigation, as well as everyone who trusts and supports our officers every day to solve these major crimes and to ensure their safety in our city. I also personally want to thank every police officer who had a role in this investigation, which was very complex and included our VPD frontline patrol officers who were first on scene, to our forensic identification specialists, collision reconstructionists, and other highly specialized resources that work behind the scenes that the public often doesn't hear about, as well as our homicide team led by Inspector Mike Hurd. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the Durham Regional Police Service in Ontario, the Toronto Police Service, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for their support and assistance throughout this complex investigation. In closing, I want to speak directly to anybody involved in reckless criminal activity and gang life. On January 13th, 2018, those actions resulted in 2 people dying, including the death of a promising young man and forever changed the lives of family members that loved him very much. This arrest, coming more than 4 years later, should serve as a stark message that no matter how long it takes, no matter what stands in our way, the men and women of the Vancouver Police Department will never stop our relentless pursuit of the truth, evidence, and accountability for those who commit violent crimes, and we will do everything in our power to bring you to justice. I'm now going to invite Sue Baker, who is our Victim Services Unit Coordinator, to come up, and she's going to read you a statement from the Wong family.
Good morning. Again, a statement from the family of Alfred Wong. Our family would like to thank the Vancouver Police Department and any others involved in the ongoing investigation for their tireless efforts and commitment despite the difficulties of the ongoing pandemic. We understand the Vancouver Police Department has now made an arrest and that charges have been laid. We are optimistic that all those involved in the crime will be brought to justice. We hope that Alfred's death will be a catalyst for change in combating gang violence in the Greater Vancouver area, and that going forward there will be no more similar incidents. Our family would like to thank everyone involved for their support and request that our privacy continue to be respected. All matters pertaining to the case should go through and be handled by the Vancouver Police Department at this time. Thank you.
During the investigation, we discovered that the person of interest in this file was residing in Ontario, so it led our investigators to Ontario to work with the Durham Regional Police and the Toronto Police Service, who were the police of jurisdictions in those areas. And our investigation took a long time in Ontario, actually, and we've now successfully been able to lay charges against a person that is living in Ontario.
Can you share more details about how you found the suspect?
I can't talk about the specifics, Mike. It's a very long and complex investigation, and as you know, it's before the courts now, so as far as the details of that, I can't get into that right now with the media, but it was a very long, complex investigation involving a lot of police officers from several different agencies. This person has been arrested, and we're in the process of bringing them back to Vancouver.